Deep breath. Cleansing. We are about to partake in a free-to-play Japanese social game by Electronic Arts. Whew. Okay. Let's give it a go here. Let's listen to this music, because it might be the best part about this experience. Actually, it's not too bad, even though the first time you boot up the game, it says, hey, gacha stuff. If you don't know what gacha is, this is the typical free-to-play mechanic that most social games in Japan have, where it's sort of like a roulette deal where it will spit out a freebie, but the more money you put in, the better chance you have of doing well and getting good stuff. And yeah, that's a maintenance thing. There's so many pop-ups before you even start this game. This is a role-playing game with Tetris in it, which you might think is actually a pretty good idea. And actually, this isn't quite as gross so far as I had anticipated it would be. You have a quest log here, which we're looking at right now, a mainline story, although, you know, I mean, there's not too much of a plot to get into, just little text blurbs, as we'll see. Special quests, which are timed things, and events of which there aren't any right now. Basically, where I am, the major paywall that I've managed to hit is with these special quests, where if you do well in these quests, then you get extra stuff. This is for today, Tuesday, and there's 13 hours left in this, you know, basically until the end of the day. Yeah, this is where the paywall will really hit you, because suddenly you'll have to deal with high-level opponents, and to do that, you're going to need better monsters, and yeah, to do that, you're going to have to spend some cash. So let's have a look at the story here. And I've cleared the first chapter, so basically I haven't got too far, just basically through the tutorial stuff. For some reason it assumes that you've never played a Tetris game before, so there's an awful lot of tutorial to get through. But as you see, as you start in each chapter, it'll tell you basically how hard each chapter is going to be and how many fights you have to get through. And you also get the social element, which is actually not a bad idea. These are other real players, and you choose the one which has you choose the guy that have a high enough level and good enough monsters to help you out. So it'll always put somebody who's on your friend list right at the top. So we're going to go with him. So there is kind of a social element. This gives me this character, so yay. There is kind of a social element. You can send messages back and forth, you know, kind of like thanks. It's kind of like the pawn system in Dragon's Dogma, I guess, in a really, really low-level sense. You can send your monsters to other people and that and whatnot. So it's not an entirely antisocial social game. Let's go. Okay. So the basic deal is here, we're playing Tetris, and every time, rather than just every time I make a line it clearing out, it does something a little bit different. The worst part of Tetris Monsters on iOS is that you have to play iOS Tetris, which is god-awful, you know, because Tetris, really, it's a round peg in a square hole, or a square peg in a round hole when it comes to fitting it to touchscreen devices, which means if you haven't played iOS Tetris, rather than freely moving, it will just give you these shadows and you just choose. There's no real thought going on, you just choose where they fit. So rather than a line automatically clearing, they stack at the bottom once I made a line, and then when I'm ready, which is really when I can't make any more matches like right now, I tap all the lines I made and I attack, and it's turn-based combat in that regard. So I attack and then the monsters attack. So you really have to make as many matches or as many lines as possible before you strike, so to speak, so that then, you know, the effect that their damage has is limited. So yeah, there's really nothing particularly cognizant about making all these matches. You just kind of look at it and go, okay, that goes there, okay, that goes there. There's not much skill involved. You can actually switch and play a more free version, which is you're with the swipe controls, and then I'm kind of swiping left to right and then tapping to rotate, which is a little bit more Tetris-esque, but there's a really heavy input lag here when I'm doing this, so it's far from ideal. It's really clumsy to play. So it's actually a whole lot easier to play one-touch Tetris, which it's just really bad. You know, that's the worst aspect of this whole experience, is not the free-to-play or the social mechanics, it's having to play iOS Tetris, which is piss poor, frankly. So let's see if we can get through this. And you'll notice on the left, I've got a gang of monsters which I've collected, you know, over the course of things. This is Tetris monsters, or Pitomon, as it wants you to call it. And you'll see I've earned a treasure chest there. Within each treasure chest, there's a new monster to join your party, or that you can buy or sell, or what have you. So if I touch each of these monsters, has special ability, which is a time thing. So his ability is that it'll fix any holes that are in my well, and if I hit him, he's got just an attack thing, I think. No, he just, okay, it shifts everything to the left slightly. So every time you gain a new monster, or you earn a new monster, you have to kind of think about whether it will kind of fit in your crew and fit your playstyle, which is, you know, it's a decent idea, I think. You know, to be fair, it's kind of clever to have this effect. Tetris has kind of played with power-ups really unconvincingly an awful lot over the years, but this kind of adds a strategic element to proceedings, I kind of think. Yeah, I'm doing quite well, so... You know, this is still fairly early on. As I said, the big paywalls here are where there's bigger rewards. So those are in these special sort of timed events that you saw earlier on. I have no doubt that the further I get into this, the steeper the paywalls are going to be. Because I was getting absolutely hammered when I tried a special event earlier on and just wiped out with one hit. It is just, you know, hey... Grind, level up your guys, or... Oh, whoops, that was stupid. Her ability is just to heal. For whatever reason, it doesn't really tell you very well, or remind you very well what your monster's abilities are, so it's kind of easy to just forget what they are and accidentally type them and waste an ability here. But we're gonna have no real trouble clearing these guys. Yeah, I have no doubt that eventually, as a boss monster approaches here, you are going to come up with an awful lot of paywalls, where it will just be grind, get your guys to level up, or, yeah, if you really want to, you can spend real money to get through things. I kind of like the J-pop upbeat dance track versions of you know, the classic Tetris music here. I kind of dig it. I don't know. Perhaps you won't. Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, right now, the actual Tetris element of it is just really not very interesting because, as I said, it's iOS Tetris, which is just bad. But I mean, it's interesting to see a Tetris-based RPG, but this isn't really the format to play it on. And the other thing is, it just it doesn't do much to endear yourself to it. And you know, I mean, you saw just on the front end with all the the legal messaging about maintenance, but also, you know, reminding you about gacha every 2 minutes. And I always find, especially social games, especially Japanese developed social games, they really kind of, or a lot of them do, have problems just with presentation, and it just, they always feel like, even though now we're firmly entrenched in the smartphone era, they always kind of feel like they were built on a Java-based sort of feature phone and then ported upwards. I don't know, in a weird way, this actually looks, as I'm sort of looking at it on the window of the capture software, this actually looks an awful lot better blown up onto the TV than it does on my phone. It kind of, for whatever reason, the resolution on the assets are a little bit off, or just the form factor of how the screen is divided up is really weird. You know, like this inconsequential battle that's going on at the top of the screen has a much larger window than it really needs, while it feels like the Tetris board, I suppose, is kind of just slightly too small. So I don't know, they never really present themselves very well, I don't think. Not even Puzzles and Dragons, which is, you know, by far the most popular social game around, and I guess kind of the direct competitor to Tetris Monsters. But yeah, I mean, just the idea in general, I think is cool, but yeah, it's odd in a way that I was kind of anticipating the Tetris element of this to be alright, because hey, it's Tetris, and you know, you can't go wrong, you can't go far wrong with what Tetris is. But I was anticipating, oh god, this is going to be so full of microtransactions that it's just going to be an absolute chore to play. You know, I've played this for a couple of hours, but I was expecting to hit the paywall by now, and I haven't quite yet, in the main quest anyway. But yeah, in an odd way, it's the other way around. It's the role-playing aspect that's actually I find quite interesting, and oddly actually the limited social interactions you have that I find quite interesting. But the actual Tetris is just really bad. Yeah, but we're done now. Clear. Hooray. There's some tips as well. So that's saying what I did before, what I said before, is I think about the skills of each of your monsters as you earn them. I like this normal music so. And so you see each of those 3 treasure chests opens up a monster here. The cost, I think, is related to the cooldown that each of them have. Here's a level 1 of 20, so whatever. And a couple more. So that jelly thing you saw I already had, but I swear I can get a fire thing there, and I can see his skills before I do anything else. Yep. Thanks. And then back to the quest thing. So you can see I can look at my team of monsters. You have 4 in your deck, so to speak. And so you have 4 mains, and you also have sub-monsters as well, and then if I touch one of these, then I can just shuffle those people around and you know, get new monsters in. Yeah, I can also look at them, you know, at my own leisure in the monster room. I can gaze at their kind of low poly models if I so desire, and I can also, kind of interestingly, I can sell these monsters as well. Where can we do that? Yeah, I can choose to sell any duplicates that I have for a few extra bits of gold, which is nice. And then, of course, you know, I could spend real money in the shops, either to buy crystals, which are what I need to spend at the gacha shop thing, or the monster room. I don't have enough monsters to do that. So it's actually holding me off from the monster in there. You know, so I can either buy monsters or I can, you know, buy crystals with real money, which is what I use in the gacha machines. So you either have point gachas, and I'm not exactly clear what my points are. It doesn't really say where I got. Apparently I have 260 points, but I can't see where it actually says how many points I have. So let's spend 200 and see what I get. And I get that guy, so, you know, it looks pretty low level, so not that great, but, you know, the more money I spend, blah blah blah, the better monsters I get. You also see, you know, your level of friends. These started as randoms, I just added them as friends, so we get, you know, better level monsters and generally do better in the quests and whatnot. So that's actually quite a clever idea. So yeah, I'm anticipating the bum's rush when it comes to the free-to-play mechanics, but actually it's not too bad as a social game, as a free-to-play game. As a Tetris game, crap though. So, you know, bear that in mind before you download this for free. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to where disgodzillapoop.com for more.